Well, friends are telling us it costs $100 billion to invent a new drug or to bring one out. So what they're going to start doing is repurposing existing drugs. Wouldn't it be wild if a toenail fungus drug helped cancer patients? We'll open with that. And then we have somebody I really want you to meet. What is Integrative Oncology? This is an oncologist. Dr. Stegall is going to be here with us today. And he is going to talk about integrating other therapies that might help cancer patients even more than just chemo and radiation. Imagine that. We have a lineup today that I think you're going to absolutely love, and you can watch it again on our website after the show is over. Here we go. My name is Doug Kaufman. For the past 40 years, I've dedicated my life and even my career to finding the root cause of disease. Join me in a team of physicians, pharmacists, and scientists, and soon you too will know the cause. Friends, do you remember, if you've watched me for a long period of time, do you remember my reference to the 1997, 20 years ago, the Medical Tribune article that said Nizoral helps men with prostate cancer? I don't encourage anybody to take a drug, and I need to take a few minutes and explain this to you here. What I wanted to prove was an antifungal drug helped men's prostate. What do you think the cause of prostate disease is? Fungus, right? Do you remember when I've been teaching you through the years that statin drugs are actually antifungal drugs? And so many of you didn't get my point. I don't want you on statin drugs. I don't like statin drugs. Sometimes maybe you got to go on them. I personally wouldn't take them. I'd try and figure out why my cholesterol, my triglycerides shot up so high. Moldy environment, too much carbohydrate, too much alcohol, too much sugar, etc. I'd try and figure that out. But I understand some of you do take it, and that's okay. I'm not here to judge. Well, this was posted the other day, December 19th, a short time ago, several months ago. Washington Post. Popular cholesterol meds may protect against Alzheimer's. Statin drugs may protect against Alzheimer's disease. Of course. I think statin drugs are I know. Statin drugs are antifungal, and so they're protecting against another fungal disease, Alzheimer's. That does not condone taking statin drugs. All I'm trying to do is teach you that, gee, Alzheimer's, men's prostate problems, cancer in general, and many other conditions are linked to fungus. I don't want you to take the drugs. I'd much rather see you take safe oils and safe supplements and safe plants and food that is antifungal. Let me run you through this very quickly now. New drugs are too expensive. On average, it takes about 15 years and costs about $1 billion to make one new drug. I think there's only 6 in the pipeline for 2017. Scientists now find new uses for old drugs. We call this repurposing. Just bear with me here. Antifungal toenail drug slows cancer from metastasizing. It's called Sporanox or itraconazole, a common antifungal drug in widespread clinical use, has evidence of clinical activity that is of interest in cancer studies. There is evidence that at clinically relevant doses, Sporanox has potent anti-angiogenic activity. Let me just quickly tell you what that is. A breast tumor has cancer cells in it. They break away, travel to the brain. A new plexus of capillaries form around those 2 or 3 cells and feed them. We call that angiogenesis or metastasis. What Sporanox does is stop the spread of cancer. Now, I'm not telling you to take Sporanox. I'm telling you, do you find it coincidental that cancer is being helped? More so, I think, with antifungal drugs, maybe even with chemotherapy drugs. Could cancer have a fungal etiology? Finally, let me introduce you to this brilliant guy named Curtis Chong, PhD, MD. He is categorizing repurposed drugs. He's a bright guy. Repurposing drugs isn't new. It's the reason that the acne drug retinoic acid is now a treatment for an acute form of leukemia. It's why ketoconazole or Nizoral for fungal infections is also used in prostate cancer treatment. I don't want you to take retinoic acid. I don't want you to take Nizoral. Here's what I want you to know. Years ago, retinoic acid was found to be fungal statin. It stopped fungus from proliferating through your body. No wonder retinoic acid is good for leukemia patients. Don't take it. I don't want you to take it unless your doctor prescribes it. Don't go to your doctor and say, I want statin drugs, I want Nizoral, et cetera. What I'm trying to do here, I'll never teach you to take a medication. What I'm trying to do is show you the correlation between antifungal drugs and cancer, leukemia, prostate disease. I mean, our Alzheimer's. I think if a drug works, and this includes antidepressants, this includes gout medicine, this includes statin drugs, if a drug works, it's because it has antifungal properties. Okay, general statement, I know. Now, lead an antifungal lifestyle. Stop feeding it, the Kaufman diet. Take supplements. Vitamins and minerals are known to have antifungal properties. Be healthy. Don't be on a lot of drugs. That's the take-home message. Okay, Dr. Jonathan Stegall joins me right now, folks. He is an integrative oncologist. We all know the word oncology, right? Cancer. And I'm telling you, I've been to some cancer meetings, and I think they need to update, what they're doing. Then you have integrative oncology. Last year, I guess, I spoke at a couple integrative meetings. Dr. Stegall was there. Here is a doctor who sees cancer patients. So let's start there. What is this disease we call cancer that we're all fearful of?
Well, this is a disease that unfortunately is growing greatly in numbers. We're approaching 1 in every 2 Americans having cancer at some point in their lives. It amounts to about 1.7 million new cancer cases diagnosed in the U.S. every year, and about 600,000 deaths a year from cancer. So it's a huge problem, and it's going to be number 1. It's going to surpass heart disease in the next 10 years, according to most estimates.
And oncologists tend to say this is a disease, but your research has kind of proven it's really more than one disease, right?
Right, absolutely. It's definitely multifactorial when we look at the development of cancer. We look at our exposures. We feel that multiple exposures over many years causes the development of cancer. It's not usually just one trigger. And so that obviously presents itself in different ways in different patients.
Can I ask you, as an oncologist, is this a disease here for lymphoma, or is there something going on inside my body also, not just here?
Well, it's absolutely systemic, and I think that's the big dividing point between myself and a lot of the more conventional oncologists is I view cancer as a systemic disease. So we obviously focus on tumors, and we need to because tumors are needing to be eliminated, but cancer affects the rest of the body as well, and that's looking at how cancer affects the immune system, the hormonal system, all the different body systems, and we must address that while we're also addressing the tumors themselves.
You know what I loved about talking with you before we were ever on air here is you didn't cut apart the oncologists. You said, Doug, slow down. There's some things there that are really good that we need to draw from. So teach the audience a little bit about that.
Well, I'm all about having as many tools at my disposal as I can. So whether we're drawing from conventional oncology or nutrition or another field, we need to have as many tools as we can to use for each patient. And so, chemotherapy is a good example of this. We all tend to view chemotherapy as a bad thing, and we've all seen spouses or relatives or friends go through traditional chemotherapy where their hair falls out and they're sick and they're not doing well at all. And so we kind of label chemotherapy as bad, but I view it more as about toxicity and dosing. So when you ask any pharmacist about something that's toxic, it's not about that substance as much as it is the dose. So chemotherapy at high doses is toxic. Water at high doses is toxic. Air at high doses is toxic. And so my approach is let's use chemotherapy in a way where it's a lot less toxic. And so what we do in my office is we use lower dose chemotherapy. It's called fractionated chemotherapy or low dose chemotherapy and give 10 or 20% of the dose that most patients are accustomed to getting. We can give that more often, and we don't tend to see the side effects like you would with full dose chemotherapy.
That is so good. You're a young guy, beautiful wife, new baby. This is in a few months you'll have a new baby. She's pregnant right now. What are you going to do to prevent cancer based on everything you've read, studied, and learned from patients? What will you do in your family to prevent this disease? Is it preventable for all of us?
It is. I believe that it is. When we look at cancer prevention, We have to start with nutrition. So nutrition has to be the focus, and giving good quality foods that are providing nourishment, not just energy and calories, but nourishment to the body. And so we do that with a wide variety of vegetables and fruits and minimally processed food as much as we can, organic, of course, as much as we can, in a good, solid supplementation regimen. Those exercise, those are the keys really that we're talking about.
I could interview this doctor for about, what, 10 more hours? I mean, just fascinating. Thank you for being on the show today. He is seeing new patients. There's the graphic. Pick up the phone, give them a buzz tomorrow, tonight. Look, cancer affects all of us, right? There isn't one way to treat it. This doctor says there's plenty, and it's based on your thumbprint. Thank you, Dr. Scott.
Thank you so much.
Imagine a family of 5 and they don't eat grains. Daniel Crouch is here to talk about grain-free living. And directly after that, Kyle and I are going to answer some Facebook questions. You don't want to miss this.
Hello, I'm Daniel Crouch with your Lifestyle Moment. Today I want to talk about grains and all the stuff that's going around these days about what they do to you and what they don't do to you. Let's establish a fact real quick. Grains, okay, at their most basic form are sugar. They don't provide protein, they don't provide fat, the things that are essential to your body. It's basically just energy. So what we want to figure out is, what is the advantage of going grain-free? Well, as Doug has talked about so many different times, grains feed fungus and they feed disease and they feed, cancers and things like that. So if we can eliminate the grains from our diet, we're also taking out yeast as well, which is also something the cause viewers understand is never a good thing. So by taking them out of your diet, okay, well, what sort of advantageous benefits can you get? Well, number one, you're going to starve out the disease. Is the phase 1 diet, you all know that by pushing, things that are not supposed to be inside you out of you, you have to do it by starving them out. They're also coming out with new research saying that not only are the grains feeding the type 2 diabetes, but they're calling it type 3 diabetes now, which is the Parkinson's and the Alzheimer's. Now, there are ways to eat and to live a normal life without grains in your life. Some of you may happen to know that my wife and I, Lindsay, have a company called Guiltless Superfoods. Again, we use seeds, so it's grain-free. There are other alternatives out there, but you don't need to have grains. The food pyramid, the 8 to 11 servings is not essential. You don't need carbs or grains to survive. So I encourage you, go ahead and try enjoying fiber, fat, and protein, 3 things that you absolutely do need, and replace those grains with the fiber, the fat, and the protein. Again, Guiltless Superfoods is one way, but there's many other ways through nuts and seeds and avocados and things like that. So I think you'll enjoy this, and I know you'll feel better, and I know that you'll have more quality of life by starving out the sugar. I mean, who doesn't know already that sugar is not good for you? But most people don't link together grains and sugar. So now you know the cause. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Daniel Crouch with your Lifestyle Moment on Know the Cause.
It's not nice to be in this place with all these guys, all these cameramen, floor directors, producers, but Kyle and I have fun. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, man.
Kyle and I the other night did a live show. Maybe you heard it. Know the Cause is growing in leaps and bounds, and in 2017, our 17th year in production, I wanted to start coming to you directly. Instead of doing a show which is a post-production show, I wanted to come to you live and let you see what I'm really like in person. And I think it's diametric to who I am on TV. We laughed a lot the other night. We got some great questions. And you can ask questions of me and learn a little bit more. All you do is go to Facebook, Know the Cause, and there I am. How do you know when I'm on? Go to Know the Cause, and you'll see at the front banner on our website, it says next Friday at 7 p.m., Doug's on live. Join us. I think you'll really enjoy it. We end up with too many questions. There are hundreds and hundreds of questions. So John, our producer, likes to put 3 or 4 of them together, and we try and answer them. Understand, we are not doctors. We play them on TV, but we're not. So always speak with a healthcare professional, when trying to figure out your health problems. Okay, so candy. That's a giveaway, candy.
Uh-oh.
What should you do when you get one of those nasty viruses, especially school-age kids? Okay, school-age kids, ducting, mold. I wonder if it's a virus.
And a great diet in schools, right?
Yeah, perfect diet. Remember what your 20 cents bought? The hamburger and the, well, you're too young, but 20 cents used to get us a hamburger in high school.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, every time parents send off their kids and one child gets sick and then they all get sick, the thing that I always think about it, okay, well, a child's diet and the exposure to air mycotoxins and everything else. So what do you do about it? Well, you can't always control every single thing that a child does, so what can you control? What do they eat before they leave in the mornings? What do they eat after they get home in the afternoons? And are there a few things that we can take like colloidal silver? Yeah, we can take that. Can we take things like oregano oil? Depends on their age. Maybe something like caprylic acid is a little bit better for things like that. But little things like that, and even the amino acid L-lysine, we've answered that. That one keeps coming up lately. I don't know what that is.
I think it came in here. I think we got another one. By the way, prophylactically, before you get the nasty health problem, could you use beta-glucan? Every child, school-age child, I believe, should be on it. After research, I'm still confused about fermented foods. Oh boy, this would take 20 minutes. I found an organic probiotic, yet it's grown on mushrooms. Sai, can you help me understand when and if ferment is okay? Can I make a general quick statement? Bacterial fermentation, sauerkraut, cabbage, sauerkraut, milk, yogurt, kind of like that. Fungal fermentation, alcohol, antibiotics. I'm not so sure I'm comfortable with that. So bacterial ferments, the aging process of foods, before there was refrigeration, Kyle.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the thing about living in our age. We don't remember not having a refrigerator. We don't remember not going to the store with the frozen food section. So how did everything get stored? It had to be part of the fermentation process to keep things available throughout the winter and during times of year when you couldn't get the fresh version of that food. So fermentation is just part of the cycle, but like Doug, in this day and age when we're exposed to so many things that we'd like to not be, I would stick with more of the bacterial ferments and not so much the yeast ferments.
Citric acid, steroids. There's so many other things that are fungal ferments. Okay. Fabry's, I had to look it up. Okay, I didn't know what it was. Amy asks, what is this thing? I know it's an autoimmune disease, but there's so little information. Not many people suffer with it. Look, I took my notes. You guys would be so proud of me.
Nice.
Okay, it's a genetic lysosomal storage disease, inherited, yada, yada, inherited, which means genetic. What caused the DNA mutation? Okay, that's where I start. Fabry's disease can cause a wide range of symptoms. It's a form of sphygmolipo something.
Have fun.
Sphygmolipidosis. It involves, dysfunctional metabolism of sphygmaloids. By the way, they cover nerve cells, okay? Yep. This disease was named after one of its discoverers. Okay, MS is another sphygmolipid disease. And I think MS and fungus are intimately linked. We published on this. Just go to the website or go to any Google search or anything and type in MS and chronic mycotoxicosis.
And autoimmune disease itself, the wide range of autoimmune diseases, the body attacking itself.
Yeah.
Really, is that what's happening? Or is it attacking something we just haven't identified yet?
Kyle, thank you. Home run. I am so tired of doctors saying, autoimmune disease, like diabetes, is when the body begins, or cancer begins attacking itself. What? Did the good Lord make one cell in your body with boxing gloves on it to fight another good cell? No way. There's something invisible, doctor. Maybe a small poison being jetted into our bloodstream from maybe eating cereals or drinking alcohol or taking your pills that can lead us, I believe, into a very destructive a syndrome called autoimmune diseases. Autoimmunity, I think these are chronic mycotoxicoses, as I do Fabry's disease, or however you say it. I couldn't even say sphygmolipid. Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, man.
With all of this new information, your head is just stuffed and your stomach is saying what? I'm hungry. How about taking an avocado? Better yet, let's show you. Today on Know the Cause, we're making tuna stuffed avocado, none of which feeds fungus. The ingredient list includes 2 avocados, halved and pitted, 1 lime, 1 5-ounce can of solid white tuna packed in water, 1/2 bell pepper, red or any color, and then dice it. 2 to 3 teaspoons of red onion, again finely diced. Garnish with sliced jalapenos. 1/2 teaspoon dill, dried or fresh. Garnish with sliced tomatoes. 2 to 3 teaspoons of Greek yogurt, salt, and pepper. Here are the directions. Be careful as you cut your 2 avocados into halves. The next thing you need to do is to remove the pits. After the pits are removed, then splash the avocado halves with lime juice. This maintains the freshness and holds the color. In a bowl, mix tuna, red onion, finely diced, red pepper, and again, finely diced, and dill. Salt and pepper to taste. Then add the yogurt and mix thoroughly. Next, spoon mixture into avocado halves. Garnish with jalapeno slices and tomatoes. And the next step is to taste your tuna stuffed avocados. Oh my, this is incredible. Was I right? Or was I right? Or was I right? Toenail fungus treatment drugs help cancer patients. Wow. Be still my heart. Thank you, Dr. Stegall. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here today. And remember what I said in the opening. Watch this again on knowthecause.com. See you next time.